Almost somebody will not be fat and have peace again. Kelvin, I will deal with you when I will be slim.
She loved him when he was broke, cooked for him, prayed for him, and believed in his dream. He mocked her weight the day his music blew up, left her for an influencer with the perfect body. 1 year later, he saw her again and wished he never let her go.
Welcome to my channel, FOLKTALES by Chisom. Real life stories, review powerful lessons. Sit back, relax, let's enjoy it together. Thank you.
When Kelvin first came into Amara's life, he had nothing but a dream and a cracked Android phone filled with unfinished Afrobeats demos. He was poor, unknown, struggling, but to Amara, he was everything. They met on a rainy evening at a small roadside food spot in Lagos. Kelvin had walked in drenched, frustrated after another failed studio session. Amara, heavy-set and soft-spoken, offered him a seat and an extra plate of food without hesitation. He talked. She listened. That night, something gentle began. Amara had always struggled with her weight. Food was her comfort long before Kelvin arrived. Whenever life hurt, she ate. When loneliness crept in, she ate more. She knew people stared. She knew the whispers. But Kelvin, in the beginning, made her feel seen. "You are beautiful just the way you are," he used to say, squeezing her hand. "You believe in me when nobody else does." And she truly did. Amara cooked for him like he was already her husband. Jollof rice, pepper soup, swallow at night when he returned late from cheap studios that smelled of sweat and broken dreams. She prayed for him loudly, boldly, sometimes with tears, when his songs didn't blow, when producers ignored him, when money finished. When Kelvin had nothing, Amara stood firm. She paid transport when he couldn't, encouraged him when his voice cracked with doubt. She shared her little salary without complaint. To her, love was sacrifice, love was patience, love was staying. But slowly, the air changed. Kelvin began spending more time online, scrolling endlessly through Instagram, watching influencers with tiny waists and flawless skin, comparing, measuring, imagining. To Amara, the comments started small. "You eat a lot, you know. Do you ever get full?" Amara laughed it off, forcing jokes to hide the sting. She told herself he was stressed. She told herself success was close and pressure was talking. But the remarks grew sharper. "My ex was fat too, but at least she tried. You know, if you worked on yourself, you'd be unstoppable." Each word sank deep, even when said casually. Still, Amara stayed. Then one night, everything changed. Kelvin burst into her apartment screaming with excitement. A major blogger had reposted his song. Streams were climbing fast. Calls started coming in. Opportunities followed. For the first time, Kelvin tasted hope. Amara danced with him in the small living room, sweat and joy mixing freely. She prayed again, this time in gratitude. But success did not make Kelvin softer. It hardened him. As the fame grew, so did his distance. He stopped eating her food and ate somewhere else, stopped answering calls on time because he was with another lady, stopped posting her. He started dressing better, talking differently, looking at her differently. And then came the night that shattered everything. At a small industry hangout, Kelvin introduced Amara coldly. No affection, no pride. Some people stared, others whispered. Kelvin noticed, and instead of defending her, he felt embarrassed. On the drive home, silence hung heavy. Finally, Kelvin spoke. "You know, you really need to work on yourself. This weight thing isn't good for my image." Amara turned slowly, her heart pounding. "Your image?" she whispered. That was the moment she knew love was no longer enough, and something inside her quietly broke.
Success came to Kelvin quietly at first, then all at once. One song turned into two, two turned into a hit, the hit turned into a movement. His name began to circulate in places Amara had only seen on TV. Bloggers reposted him, DJs mentioned him on radio, Influencers danced to his song with captions filled with fire emojis. Money started entering his account in figures he had never imagined. Amara watched it all with pride. She reposted his wins, prayed harder, cooked more. She believed his success was their success. She believed love had finally paid its dues. But fame has a way of amplifying what already lives inside a person. Kelvin changed. His voice changed first. The way he spoke to Amara became impatient, sharp, dismissive. He stopped asking about her day, stopped listening when she talked. When she laughed too loudly, he frowned. When she ate freely, he sighed. "You're always eating," he snapped one afternoon. "Do you know how bad that looks?" Amara froze, spoon midair. "I'm just hungry," she replied softly. "Well, hunger has consequences," he said in the afternoon, scrolling through his phone. That phone was always in his hand now, always on Instagram, always liking pictures of women who looked nothing like Amara. Slim waists, round hips, flawless skin, perfect angles. Women whose bodies seemed carved for attention. Sometimes he didn't even hide it. "See this one?" he said once, turning the screen toward her. "She knows how to maintain herself." The words stabbed deeper than he realized. At events, Kelvin stopped bringing Amara along. When he did, he kept his distance. No hand-holding, no public affection. When people asked who she was, he hesitated before answering. "Just someone I know." Those words haunted her. The worst came the night Kelvin officially crossed the line. They attended a private listening party. Dim lights, expensive drinks, loud laughter. Amara wore her best dress, carefully chosen to make her feel confident. Still, she felt eyes on her, judgment, curiosity. A group of women walked past, slim, thick, glamorous, loud. One of them hugged Kelvin tightly. "Oh my God, I love your song," she squealed. Kelvin smiled widely, a smile Amara hadn't seen in months. Someone laughed behind them. "Bro, you upgraded," a voice joked, glancing toward the women, then briefly at Amara. Kelvin laughed too. That laugh broke her. On the way home, Amara said nothing. Her chest felt heavy, like something was sitting on her heart. Kelvin was humming happily, drunk on attention. Finally, he spoke. "Listen, Amara, things are changing." She looked at him. "My life is moving fast. I can't be carrying unnecessary weight, physically or otherwise." The words landed hard. "So I'm unnecessary now?" she asked, her voice trembling. He sighed in annoyance. "I'm saying you don't fit where I'm going." The breakup happened just days later. Cold, cruel, final. Kelvin told her plainly that he was dating someone else, a popular influencer, fair-skinned, slim, thick, beautiful, someone who matched his new status. "She understands my lifestyle. She knows how to look the part." Amara didn't scream. She didn't beg. She simply nodded, packed his remaining things, and watched the man she built leave without looking back. That night, alone in her room, Amara cried until morning. Not just for Kelvin, but for the version of herself who loved too deeply, trusted too fully, and believed loyalty could outshine cruelty. By morning, her eyes were swollen, her heart was shattered. But somewhere beneath the pain, a quiet fire began to burn, and it was only just beginning.
For the first few days after Kelvin left, Amara lived like a ghost. She stayed indoors, curtains drawn, phone face down. The world outside felt too loud, too judgmental, too cruel.
Every notification reminded her of what she had lost. Every song on the radio felt like an insult. Kelvin was everywhere. His face on blogs, his music on playlists, videos of him laughing beside the influencer girlfriend flooded social media. She was slim, thick, glowing, always smiling. People praised them as a power couple. Amara stopped scrolling, but the damage was done. She blamed herself. If only I was smaller. If only I ate less. If only I tried harder. Food became her escape again, but this time it brought no comfort. She ate to feel numb, ate to silence the memories, ate to drown the humiliation. Late nights turned into empty plates and quiet sobs. Friends checked in at first, but Amara avoided them. "I'm fine," she kept saying, even when she wasn't. Bills piled up. Her job felt meaningless. Each day blended into the next, heavy and directionless. She began to feel invisible, like she had failed at love, at life, at being enough. The lowest point came one night when she overheard two neighbors talking outside her door. "That's the girl Kelvin dumped," one whispered. "No wonder. Did you see her size?" the other replied. Amara sank to the floor, hands shaking. That was the night she finally broke. She cried, not the quiet tears she had been holding back, but loud, painful sobs that shook her body. She cried for the girl who believed love would save her. She cried for the years she spent shrinking herself emotionally, while her body was blamed for everything. And then something strange happened. The tears stopped. Amara sat there in the silence, breathing heavily, staring at the wall. For the first time since the breakup, she asked herself a different question. Not why wasn't I enough, but do I really want to live like this? The answer scared her. No. She didn't want to wake up every day hating herself. She didn't want to be defined by someone else's cruelty. She didn't want to disappear. That night, Amara made a decision. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one, a quiet, powerful decision. She would change her life, but not to beg Kelvin back, not to impress social media, not to fit anyone's idea of perfection. She would do it for herself. The next morning, Amara woke up early. She cleaned her apartment thoroughly, opening windows she hadn't touched in weeks. She deleted old pictures that hurt too much to see. She unfollowed Kelvin, the influencer, anyone who made her feel small. Then she did something even harder. She booked her first therapy session. Admitting she needed help wasn't easy. Talking about emotional eating, self-worth, and abandonment felt uncomfortable. But with each session, she began to understand something important. Kelvin didn't destroy her confidence. He only exposed the cracks that were already there. Slowly, Amara started rebuilding. She took short walks in the mornings, not to lose weight, but to clear her head. She cooked healthier meals, learning balance instead of punishment. She stopped starving herself of joy. One evening, while journaling, she wrote a sentence that would change everything. "I will never abandon myself again." That sentence became her anchor. The pain didn't disappear overnight. Some days were still heavy, some nights still lonely, but now Amara had direction. She wasn't healed yet, but she was no longer broken. And for the first time since Kelvin left, hope quietly returned, stronger, steadier, and determined to stay.
Change did not come with applause. It came with sweat. The first day Amara stepped into the gym, she almost turned back. Mirrors everywhere, perfect bodies everywhere. The old fear crept in. They're all staring at you. Her hands trembled as she adjusted her oversized shirt. Then a calm voice interrupted her thoughts. "Welcome. You must be Amara."
Her personal trainer, Nate, wasn't impressed by trends or appearances. He didn't comment on her size. He didn't promise quick results. Instead, he asked one question that stayed with her. How do you want to feel? That was new. Strong, she said. Healthy. Alive. They started slow, painfully slow. 10 minutes on the treadmill felt like an hour. Her muscles burned. Her lungs protested. Some days she cried in the locker room before even starting. Other days she wanted to quit halfway through. But she didn't. Because for the first time, no one was mocking her. No one was rushing her. No one was shaming her. Alongside the gym, Amara met with a nutritionist who changed everything she thought she knew about food. No starving, no extremes, just balance. Understanding emotional eating, learning when hunger was physical and when it was emotional. Food stopped being the enemy. Therapy continued too, and that's where the real transformation happened. Amara talked about Kelvin, about the comments, the comparisons, the humiliation. Slowly, she began to see the truth she had avoided. Kelvin didn't outgrow her, he outgrew accountability. His success had exposed his insecurity, not her worth. That realization was painful and freeing. As her body grew stronger, so did her mind. One afternoon at work, while staring at her computer screen, Amara realized something else. She hated her job. It paid bills, but it drained her soul. She had skills she had buried for years: design, branding, creativity. That night, she made another bold decision. She quit. Fear followed immediately. Rent, stability, uncertainty. But for once, fear didn't win. Amara launched her freelance design business quietly. No big announcement, just consistent work. Networking events where she forced herself to speak up. Cold emails, late nights refining portfolios. The first client came, then the second, then a big one. Money started flowing again, but this time it was hers. Her wardrobe changed naturally as her confidence grew. Clothes weren't hiding her body anymore, they were celebrating it. She cut her hair boldly, learned how to walk into rooms without shrinking. Then came Bali. The solo trip scared her more than the gym ever did. New country, new people, no familiar comfort, but she went anyway. At the wellness retreat, surrounded by strangers who knew nothing about her past, Amara felt something unfamiliar: freedom. She laughed without shame, spoke without fear, shared her story without breaking. One night, sitting by the ocean, she caught her reflection in the water. She barely recognized herself, not because of the weight she had lost, but because of the strength she had gained. By the time Amara returned home, she wasn't chasing a glow-up. She was the glow-up. And somewhere across the city, Kelvin was about to see what he lost, whether he was ready or not.
The invitation came unexpectedly. An exclusive industry showcase, music, fashion, and business leaders in one room. Amara almost ignored it. Crowded spaces still made her cautious, but something inside her whispered that this moment mattered. So she went. She arrived early, calm and composed. Her dress fit her perfectly, not tight, not hidden, just right. Her posture was different now. Her walk steady. People noticed, heads turned, conversations paused. Amara didn't rush. She greeted familiar faces, exchanged business cards, smiled easily. She belonged here. Across the room, Kelvin walked in, surrounded by people. Loud, confident, important. At first, he didn't see her. Then someone whispered his name and nodded in her direction. Kelvin turned and froze. For a second, his mind refused to process what his eyes were seeing. The woman standing there, elegant, glowing, unbothered, couldn't be Amara.
but it was. Her hair framed her face beautifully. Her body was toned, well-shaped, confident. More than that, her presence filled the room effortlessly. She wasn't searching for validation. She wasn't shrinking. She was winning. Kelvin's chest tightened. This wasn't the woman he left crying. This wasn't the girl he mocked. This wasn't someone trying to impress him. This was someone who had moved on. He watched as people approached her, industry professionals, creatives, investors. She spoke clearly, laughed freely, shook hands like she belonged at the table. The influencer girlfriend was beside him, chatting loudly, but Kelvin wasn't listening anymore. He couldn't take his eyes off Amara. Summoning courage, he walked over. "Amara," he said softly. She turned slowly. Her eyes met his, calm, unreadable. "Kelvin," she replied politely. No anger, no bitterness, just distance. You look amazing," he said, voice uneven. She smiled lightly. "Thank you. I always did." The words hit harder than she intended. Kelvin swallowed. "I've been meaning to reach out. We should talk sometime." She nodded once. "I'm sure." Then she excused herself. Kelvin stood there, stunned, watching her walk away, not because she wanted to be chased, but because she had somewhere better to be. Whispers filled the room. "Is that Amara? That's Kelvin's ex? She's stunning. She's doing really well for herself." The words burned. Later that evening, Amara stepped onto the stage, not as an audience member, but as a collaborator being recognized for her work on a major brand project. Applause erupted. Kelvin clapped slowly, realization sinking in. She didn't just glow up physically, she leveled up everywhere. As the night ended, Amara left with someone waiting by the door. A man calm and grounded, respectful, secure. Kelvin watched them laugh together, and for the first time since fame found him, Kelvin felt small. Because success had given him attention, but Amara had built peace, and peace was priceless.
Kelvin did not sleep that night. The image of Amara followed him everywhere. Her calm smile, her confidence, the way she had looked at him without longing or bitterness. He replayed the moment again and again, searching for a version of himself that could undo the past. But there was none. Days later, Kelvin did what pride once stopped him from doing. He reached out. The message was long, careful, full of regret. He talked about pressure, fame, mistakes. He admitted he had hurt her. He said he missed her. He said seeing her again made him realize what he lost. Amara read the message quietly. She didn't rush to reply. She didn't cry. She didn't feel angry either. She felt clarity. When she finally responded, her words were gentle but firm. "I forgive you, but forgiveness doesn't mean access. I'm grateful for who I've become, and I wouldn't go back for anything." That was it. No argument, no explanation, no reopening old wounds. Kelvin stared at the screen for a long time. For the first time, his success felt empty. Meanwhile, Amara's life continued to bloom. Her freelance business expanded into a full creative studio. She hired a small team. Brands trusted her vision. Her name carried weight in rooms she once felt too small to enter. She continued therapy, not because she was broken, but because she valued growth. She kept going to the gym, not to chase a body standard, but to honor her health. Food no longer controlled her. She ate with intention, with joy, with balance. And love? Love found her gently, not flashy, not loud, not conditional. Her partner loved her for who she was, every version. He never mocked her appetite, never compared her body, never made her feel like she had to earn affection. One evening, as they sat together watching the sunset, he said something that stayed with her. "I love how you chose yourself." Amara smiled, realizing how far she had come. At home, she thought about the girl who believed love meant endurance, the girl who thought loyalty required self-neglect, the girl who cried on the floor wondering why she wasn't enough. That girl was brave, but this woman was powerful. Months later, Kelvin released another hit. The world celebrated him, but inside, he carried a lesson success couldn't erase. You don't lose people because they change. You lose them because you failed to value them when it mattered. Amara never needed revenge. Her life became the proof. And whenever people whispered, "Have you seen how she came back looking like this?" the truth was deeper than looks. She didn't come back to be seen. She came back whole.